Okay, dear friends, today I'd like to continue our series of Vulnhub. The virtual machine would be Chile 1. I will put the link into the description section below so that you can download this image from the Vulnhub. Before we begin today's video, if you don't mind, please subscribe to my channel. I do appreciate your help and support. So now let's just get started. To save time, I have already imported this virtual machine into the VirtualBox. Of course, if you have some problems when importing this virtual machine into the VirtualBox, please leave them in the comment below, and I will reply that. Okay, now we can go into the Kali Linux. As you can see over here, I have already identified the IP address of the virtual machine as 252. And then I did the nmap scanning. I did the scene scan, the version scan, and the default scan, the SC option. And also I did the comprehensive scan by specifying the option of -P-. So from the nmap scanning results, we can know the virtual machine has two open ports. The first one is 21, and also the actual version information. As we know, of course, you can use the search sprite utility to confirm that, but to save time, I'd like to tell you this virtual machine this version of FTP doesn't have any vulnerability. And the second open port is 80, which runs HTTP service. And the actual version information, which is Apache 2. Of course, from the nmap scanning results, we can know the virtual machine FTP service doesn't allow anonymous login. So at this point, what can we do is to some enumeration for the HTTP service. So how to do? Firstly, let's open up our browser and put the IP address of the virtual machine. So I think this site is very simple, except one Chile image. And of course, you can download this image onto the Kali Linux and use like stack hide and stack seek to see whether this image has some sort of hidden message inside this image. But I can tell you, when I did this virtual machine the first time, I cannot find anything useful from the image itself. So I think what we can do, we can to check this site has robots file, and we can use the cure command robots file, but not found. It's okay, and we can use the Licato as usual. This is my personal habit when I do the HTTP service enumeration. But Licato cannot give us any special information. I mean the useful information. And then we can use the GoBuster. GoBuster is a very powerful enumeration tool. And we just autocomplete this command. And if you want, you can let this command to be finished. But I don't want the video to be so long. So I'd like to stop this process. We cannot get any directories or files from the GoBuster. Maybe you can change some other word list if you like. So I think we cannot, maybe we are stuck here, right? But you remember that the author has already given us one hint. It says if you ever get stuck, try again with the name of the lab. So maybe the author has told us the name of this virtual machine, which is Chili. Maybe it's the username for the FTP service. So now we can use the Hydra. I like to stop the immersion process and use the Hydra. And now we just hit enter. And of course, it will take a bit long time, about 50 minutes, to retrieve the valid combinations of the username and password. When I did this virtual machine the first time, again, I don't want the video so long. So I'd like to cancel this process, as I already make a note of the password for the what we get from the Hydra too. So I'd like to interrupt. Of course, for you can use the Hydra and to let it running for about 15 minutes. I think you can get the correct password for the user Chili. So now, since we have already got the username and password, then we can log in to the FTP, and we can put the username as Chili. Password, we can make a copy and paste in here. So we have already logged in via FTP. So I think from the structure of this path or directory, now we are in the home directory of the user Chili. Normally, when we face this situation, we can upload the public key or authorized key, and then we can use the private key to log in via SSH. However, from the Nmap scanning results, we can know this virtual machine doesn't have the SSH service running. So maybe we need to find some other ways to get the initial for the host. Now we can check whether we can navigate to other directories like the www directory. Yeah, we can. And we can go to the HTML directory. So I think now we can upload the reverse shell.php code or file into this directory, right? And then we can use the browser to access this file and then get the foothold or the shell. But before we do that, we need to prepare our reverse shell PHP file. And we can copy from the my toolsets directory. And we need to do some modifications. We need to modify the IP address to my Kali Linux, which is 253. And I want to change the port number to my favorite one, which is 555. And then we can write and quit. So I think now we can upload this file onto the www root directory, right? We can put shell, but we cannot create a file because this user doesn't have right or permission to create a file. So we need to find something somewhere else to upload our PHP, shell PHP file. But I think you have already noticed that the nano directory, we have right to upload our file, and we can put shell. Yeah, it does work. But before we can access this file, we need to change mode. This file, and no problem. And we can set up the listener. Now we can access this file from browser. Excuse me. Let's hit enter. Now we have already got the reverse shell from the virtual machine. And we can check ID, which is www data. And of course, the next step, as usual, we can make this shell to be interactive. And we can check the version of the Python. Yeah, Python 2 is not there. And we can check the Python 3. Yeah, Python 3 is installed. And we can use the PTY module. Yeah, and now we can make a very basic emulation. And for example, we can check the version of this virtual machine and the kernel. But I think this virtual machine is a bit updated or new one. We cannot find some local privilege escalation vulnerability. So how can we do next? After all, we need to get the root shell. This is our ultimate goal. And we can go to the temp directory. Now we can open up a new tab and use the limpiers shell script, and we can upload this limpiers shell script onto the virtual machine, which is very simple. We can use the Python to set up the web server, and now we can go back to our shell of the virtual machine. We can use the wget utility to get limpiers. Yeah, no problem. And then we can make this executable limpiers. And now let's run this. Yeah, run these limpiers. As you know, the limpiers is a very useful script when we do the local privilege escalation. These two will try to find out some vulnerability and also some misconfiguration which can be used by our or to our purpose. I think we have already got a very interesting result. The password file, maybe the privilege setting is misconfigured. We can confirm that. Yeah, even for us, for the www data has the right to write. It means that we can modify the content of the password file. So I think, in other words, we can add our own user, and this user has root privilege, and write this user information to this password file. and we can cut this password file, and we can make a copy. This line, and we can change the, for example, the username is Bob, and but we need to generate the encrypted password, which can be done by open SSL password file, and the hash type is SHA 512, and we can specify the sort value, which can be JSON, and the password itself is 123456 for the demonstration purpose. And now we can get the encrypted password, and we can replace. I need to confirm that. I needed to make a copy again, and we can make a copy and replace the X, and the username part we can change to Bob. I need to do it again because okay, and my keyboard or mouse is not working properly, but it's fine. No? Why? What's happening? We need to remove this line again and paste in here, and then Bob. I think now it's working, so we can copy the password again and replace the X, and now we can make a whole copy back to our shell. We can echo or append, not append to the file. No problem. And now we can switch the user to Bob, and the password is 123456. No problem. Now, as you can see from the banner, we have already become the root user. We can sorry about that. We can get the root flag here. Okay, so that's it. We have already successfully completed this virtual machine and got the root shell. So that's all I'd like to share in this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.